All right, Aries, you are putting a new life for yourself on a timer, and it doesn't need to be that way right now. So, clock time, time pressure in a rush, and then new life. Now, a new life is always there for you. We can always create a new life for ourselves. But for some of you, you feel like there's this rush to create this new life, and you're pushing yourself a little bit too hard and feeling like time is running out on you having a new life. Now it says a time of stress and added workload, increased responsibilities, feeling like it is too late to pursue your dreams, feeling pushed to complete too many tasks, an inability to say no, insufficient support, the urge to rush. But it also says that this could be a time of dynamic opportunity, but you must take charge of your own workload and do what must be done. It is time for one last push. You have to do what's necessary in order to create this new life and stop putting it on a stopwatch and stop trying to rush into a new life where you're not willing to do what is necessary to create that. And then that's basically what it comes down to. But I feel like for a lot of you, it's like time's running out. Time is running out. I want this new life, but it's ticking away. But it's not that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And I think that that's kind of tying into where some of you may be going dark. So fated to suffer. The moon phase here is the waxing gibbous and the stage is depression. It says feeling confined into a script, which is never a good thing for Aries. Forced by another and never really fought. Heading toward a destination of pain. The sentence says, if you know the future, you forsake your choices. My God, if I can read. Anyway, if you know the future, you forsake your choices. Only with no fate, life is free to unfold into unknown shores. And again, there is no fate but what we create for ourselves. A little bit of Terminator there again for you, but I believe that to be the truth. That's one of the reasons why I say with the Wheel of Fortune that sometimes we feel like we are not in control of our fate. That shit just happens to us, but that is truly you being on autopilot. Now, going dark. It says, once upon a time we believed in fairy tales. They were the voice of common sense, the educational tool which prepared us to duty, danger, and morals. Some things we would never accept if they were told by a single voice. So the world arranges us to hear them with 1,000 voices, 1,000,000 voices. It's about what you can do and what you can't do. What are you worth and what you can aspire to. It's about what you like, what you want, what you hold dear. It creates a script which becomes as strong as all the voices that believe that script combined, so much that you cannot see another path. And then it talks about what you see in this card. It asks a bunch of different questions. So, are you truly seeing Snow White in the card? Is this story truly the only one that this image can tell? What if the apple is not poisoned? What if the witch is not evil? Is that the same as what you look in your life? Is it truly what you think it is? Are there not any other options? Is the option of others honestly better than ours, even if they are many and we are only one? Are you fated to suffer? It is not that there is no suffering in the world. The point is that there is no fate. You are not fated to suffer. You are not fated to suffer. And don't look at your situation as I'm always suffering, my time is running out to have a better life or a new life. All right, Aries. Here's your overall, the King of Cups. Now, this could definitely be about a person that you are focused on. Could be water, male, female, doesn't matter. But I also look at the Kings as what we're projecting outward. So this could be about somebody who's becoming more emotionally available or open to you. That, or it could be the other way around. It just depends here. But this could also be about you needing to get control over your emotions, right? But we'll see how the King of Cups is playing out here. Okay, so in the past, the moon. Now, if you are dealing with a person looking at the moon as the past, you're not really clear on what is happening, not being realistic, somebody not being grounded in reality. Being confused, projecting unrealistic fears and expectations onto things. It's the illusion. But the light of the moon is there. There's always that beauty to the moon. And this could also suggest that this is, the subconscious part of yourself that you're having to face. But I kind of look at this as the situation that, you were in involving another person, which is possible for some of you. Not really understanding, not knowing what's going on, not seeing things clearly. In the present, the Emperor. I love your card in this deck. It's so masculine, right? Now, with the Emperor coming out of the moon, who is in control? Do you feel like you are getting control over confusing emotions? And is that why we're looking at the King of Cups? Or do you feel like you need to start taking control because you've allowed somebody else who is extremely confused to have too much control here? But again, we're talking about order. Order out of chaos with the Emperor here. But we'll see how this is tied in. Okay. Future conditions, the Ten of Wands. In order to get control, some of you are taking on way too much. And that may be where all this pressure is coming from with clock time. But we're coming back down. We're coming back down to reality out of the moon. Whether that, is your own personal moon or whether somebody else has been projecting that onto a situation with you. The Emperor, for me, is you in the present moment now going back to a place of control. But with the Ten of Wands, that control comes at a cost. But are we talking about another person who is placing burdens on you, or are they carrying their own burdens that are just too much for you? Maybe you don't want to get involved with somebody who has too much going on, especially if they're not willing to deal with those burdens. But like I said, for some of you, the cost here of getting control is taking everything on yourself. Your best path to follow, the Seven of Cups. And I do. Now that I'm starting to see this kind of unfold, I really do believe that this is going to have to do with a person here who may have been struggling with getting control over their own emotions attached to you. I don't think that they've been very realistic in the past. I don't think that they even understood their own emotions. But the question then becomes, are they getting control? But do they have some things that they need to deal with here? Because I look at the Seven of Cups and I think that this is about the expectations that you may have on this person. Because you're talking about fantasizing about how things could be, but not actually making fantasy reality. But it may also be that you need to stop looking at a person as a viable option for you because it may not be the right one, especially if nothing is happening. If, reality is not being created out of this, but I think it's specifically having to do with another person. But I also think that this, like I said, is about your expectations towards someone else. They may be changing their tune and they may be becoming a little bit more open toward you, but the problem is they don't understand themselves. They don't understand what they want. And that was the problem, I think, in the past, but it's still an issue now. And I do think that there is like a real, desperate need to get control. And again, I kind of go back to clock time. But the pressures and the burdens and being overwhelmed by all of this may be too much. In your environment, the Ace of Swords, this is where I think that for you, in order to get control, there needs to be absolute clear communication instead of somebody being confusing because they're not being realistic or not being grounded in reality, but it's directly affecting you. But with the Ace of Swords, that's the aha, I got it, but it is communicating absolute truth, having absolute clarity and knowing what you need to do to get control. But I'm still looking at, the heavy burdens that are coming out of that. I'm telling you, a lot of people are dealing with this, the Eight of Swords, hopes and fears. So these are the thoughts that are keeping you trapped. There is no way forward. But this could be specifically about this other person that you're dealing with. You may feel like you know what it takes to get control of the situation. You've been very clear and very truthful, but you also see the truth about this person in this situation. But with the Eight of Swords, the fear is that despite that, There is no way forward, especially if you're dealing with somebody who does not know how to deal with their own responsibilities. It's like dealing with somebody that's like, I don't know what to do. I want to be involved with you, but I'm not willing to do what's necessary to make that happen. That's kind of how I see this. And for you, the thought is that it's never going to move forward. There is no way to move forward. It's always going to be stuck in this position, right? But those thoughts are not going to help you, because it's about you being able to move forward, despite the fact that you're dealing with a person who doesn't know how the hell to do that. Because I really think that this is what this is about for a lot of you. Now, if we're talking about this in terms of career, this is really about you getting to a place where, with the King of Cups, with being the overall, you're getting a little bit more control over not knowing what to do. But then I also feel like there may be support. But the problem is that there is, a lot of responsibility that's going to be coming out of this. But the Seven of Cups is to me like, it's time to stop fantasizing. It's time to make a choice. If you can see how good something can be, you can act toward that. And then the Ace of Swords is that clarity, that epiphany, that aha, I need to deal with, these responsibilities in order to start to see what I expect. But your fear is that nothing will ever move forward. So for me, it can go both ways, whether we're talking about career for some of you, or if we're talking about specifically a person in a relationship. And that could be any relationship here. And then coming out the Three of Wands. And again, expectation. But, what is it that you're expecting from this person, especially if they're not willing to deal with their responsibilities? Now, on the other hand, with the Three of Wands coming out, this very well could be them dealing with that, letting go of the burdens that they're carrying. Sorry, guys. And being willing to able to act toward what they can envision and what they can see, right? So the Three of Wands definitely is about manifestation. But it's also about watching things unfold and waiting to take further action toward the future here, looking at the long term, right? But there's still the burdens, though, and that's what kind of throws me off here. But let's take a look at the Three of Wands. And the thing is, though, I worry that some of you may be sitting here waiting and expecting them to deal with something that maybe they're not willing to deal with. Not necessarily at a great distance, but like over text, phone calls, things like that. It's never face-to-face for me. But it's also about, getting things in line, And then the sun. So things start to become clear, and things, I think, start to get better. But I do believe that you are possibly dealing with a person here that is looking at correcting an issue. Now, again, going back to you, this could definitely be about you coming back down to reality and trying to make things fair and balanced in your life and making a right choice. But it is a final choice in order to get control. But that is happening very quickly. And again, there's the clock time, the pressure, the needing to act quickly, but needing to do it from a place of absolute clarity here with the Ace of Swords. But again, the communication is what's coming up here. But like I said, I don't ever see that as face-to-face. But the whole point of the communication is to start to get things in a row, get everything like lined up so that we can start to move forward. But because of the burdens, I think that's why you're looking at the Eight of Swords going, I don't see how this is going to move forward. But those are just the thoughts that are keeping you trapped right now. But I feel hopeful with the Three of Wands, especially with the Sun, right? Having a new life, having new life put into a situation for you. Whether we're talking about work or relationship here. But there are things that are going to have to be taken care of, whether that's on your part or someone else's. But this could literally be about somebody who, has trouble dealing with their responsibilities. Or, it could be about you needing to deal with that now. Maybe you've taken on too much. You're going to reach that destination. And I'm seeing that a lot too, where you finally get to that point where you get to drop the shit. And you don't need to carry that kind of burden anymore, right? But I like it. I like the idea that for some of you, there is this feeling of renewed life, especially with the Sun, but also seeing everything very clearly, right? Everything's out in the open now. Now you see it for what it is. But that may help you in moving forward here with the Three of Wands. right? But it's all about the action that you take toward your expectations, but it's also about being realistic about what you're expecting. And then adventure, very nice. So change is coming. That is going to heal your heart and spirit, and it's going to open up into a new adventure. It's perfect. And with the Three of Wands coming out, that's great. I mean, all of the clarifiers for that look really good to me. But I think that the Sun is the most helpful here, especially with the Ten of Wands being connected to all of this. Because all of those things that have been weighing on you unnecessarily are being brought to light so that you can now deal with them and take care of them. That, or like I said, it's about the other person here who, now sees it. But there is going to be, a movement forward here with that Three of Wands. Eventually you're going to get to that Four where you see the stability and you start to build that life that you're wanting. And it's going to be a brand new adventure. I love it. And then impasse, reflect and redirect your energy. So wherever you feel like there has been a block, you're going to have to redirect the way that you're going. Impasse is never a no. It's just saying that the path that you were on was not the right path. There is a different direction that needs to be taken. But you need to do it with enthusiasm, because there is a reason to believe here that things are going to progress forward and get better, especially with the Sun. And for a lot of you, it will have to do with a person here. And maybe them finally opening up to the fact that they haven't been very realistic. And now they may be starting to deal with, the pressures and the burdens, right? But like I said, that may be for you too. But there is new life. There is new life. But stop putting it on a stopwatch. Don't do that, right? Time is not running out. It's just beginning.